This video is going to introduce the concept of a polynomial. It's going to focus mainly on vocabulary. There's some important vocabulary we have to understand so that when we talk about polynomials, we all know what we're talking about. So with the vocabulary, first we're going to have these things called terms. We've heard the phrase like terms before. Terms are numbers and or variables that are multiplied together. They're often separated by pluses or minuses. So 5x squared would be a term. Negative 2 would be a term. It could also be a bunch of variables, x squared, y cubed, z. That is a term. Now with the term, we can talk about the term's degree. The degree is the exponent on the variable. So if we have 3x to the fourth, because it's a fourth power, we say this is a fourth degree term. We also have this thing called the coefficient. The coefficient is the number in front of the variable in a term. So again, 3x to the fourth, the 3 is the coefficient, the number in front of the variable on the term. Terms are often contrasted with factors. While terms are things that are added together, factors are things that are multiplied together, a part that is multiplied by another part. So if we have the expression negative 3x squared times x plus 1 times x minus 2, there's several factors. We see negative 3 is multiplied, x squared is multiplied, the x plus 1 is multiplied, the x minus 2 is multiplied. Those are factors. In fact, we could even say negative 3x squared or even 3x squared are factors because they are things that are multiplied. Now the negative 2 in there is subtracted from the x, so that if I just talked about the negative 2, that would be a term on the entire factor of x minus 2. Because the negative 2 is subtracted and the x minus 2 is multiplied. That's the big difference between terms and factors. Terms are added, factors are multiplied. A little bit more vocabulary as we get into this concept of polynomials. A monomial is a special type of polynomial. Mono means one. So a monomial is an expression with only one term. A one-termed expression is a monomial, such as 3c d to the fourth. Two terms, we use the prefix bi to mean two. Binomial is an expression with two terms. A squared minus b squared is a binomial. As you would expect, tri means three, so a trinomial is an expression with three terms. 4x squared minus 3x plus 1. You see the three terms separated by the adding and subtracting of 4x squared, the negative 3x, and the 1. Three terms. Now we could get kind of crazy with this and go quadrinomial and pentanomial and hexanomial and get kind of crazy. But generally we stop with monomial, binomial, and trinomial. And then anything more than that is a polynomial. Poly means many. So an expression with many terms is a polynomial. And technically monomials, binomials, and trinomials are a special case of a polynomial. But generally, polynomials have many terms. This example has four terms, 5x to the fourth plus x squared minus 4x plus 1. Now, just like terms, you can talk about coefficients and degrees. Polynomials, we can also talk about coefficients and degrees, usually focusing on what's called the leading term. The term with the highest exponent is called the leading term. So in this polynomial of 5x to the fourth plus x squared minus 4x plus 1, the leading term is the part with the highest exponent, the 5x to the fourth. Then when we talk about the degree of the entire polynomial, the degree of the polynomial is the exponent on the leading term. So if 5x to the fourth is the leading term, it's a fourth power, so we've got a fourth degree polynomial. Degrees of a polynomial. I guess that's why you could say I like polynomials to a certain degree. All right, leading coefficient then. That would be the coefficient on the leading term. Coefficient's the number in front of the leading term. So here in 5x to the 4th plus x squared minus 4x plus 1, the leading coefficient would be the 5 off of that leading term. So this video, all vocabulary. We need to make sure we understand the vocabulary, though, before we work with the polynomials, because understanding this vocabulary is going to be essential to make sure we all understand what we're talking about as we work with polynomials over the next few lessons. So good luck on the homework, and let your instructor know if you have any questions.